Hello and welcome to today's training for the District STEM Lab. Our objective today is to memorize the reservation process for the STEM Lab and its...
Whew, turn that guy off. Hello everybody. The purpose of this video and this badge is to provide an answer to the question that I get asked a lot in this job around campus, which is, what's even in the STEAM Lab for me and my students? How do I use it? And where's the support? So welcome to STEAM Lab 101. The goal of this is to give you a quick tour of the lab as well as the materials that are in here. Also show you how do you find the calendar that shows when the space is available. Walks you through the process of how to do that. And then the last part, which I think is really important, is knowing that there's lots of amazing things here. But how do I use them? Where's the support to help me with my students as I do that? So follow me. We'll take a tour of the STEAM Lab.
This is the large collaborative space here in the STEAM Lab. It can house over 50 to 60 students at a time. We do everything from large presentations to community events to allowing students the opportunity to explore and create together. This is the green screen room. In the green screen room, students can create special effects and animations for audiovisual products. Our 3D printing and design room, our virtual reality Z-Space room with 10 computers for 20 students, and an exciting immersive VR station where we have 5 VR headsets, a makerspace full of Hobby Lobby and craft-like supplies, as well as a stock room with robots, kits, Legos, drones, and all types of materials for subject areas and all students. Well, that's great that we have a space with tons of equipment that I can use in my classroom, but I want to know the specifics. I want to know, how do I reserve it, where can I find the calendar, and the exact material that's here. That's what we're going to talk about next, is the specifics of how it's here and how can we access it. For the easiest way is to go to our Snyder ISD homepage. On the top menu, hover over Departments, and then take your mouse to Curriculum. So it'll take you to a new page, and on this menu bar you'll see STEAM. If you will click on the tab that says STEAM Education and STEAM Lab, that will take you to our Snyder STEAM Lab District webpage. Here's where you can find all of the information. If you scroll to the bottom of the home page here, you'll find what I think is one of the most important things for answering these questions, because that's my job, is telling you what's here, how can you use it, and supporting you in your use. If you get stuck at any point, please email me here. I am more than happy to answer questions, come meet with you in person, or whatever works for you to help support you and your students. But to really figure out what's here, if you click on the tab called The Lab, I have linked a Google Calendar that I update constantly with classes that are here in the lab along with their times. So this is a live Google Calendar that if you click on a day, you'll be able to see the activity that's going on in the lab during that day. There are times when I might be teaching a class off-site or I'm not available to be in the lab. I had those coded as well with a term that will say Ryan's off-site. It does not mean the lab's close to you, it just means that I won't be there during that time if that's when you would like to come. Review of the spaces that we talked about with the quick field tripper here. So the next part is, we've talked about a calendar. The way you can use this is you can check the Google Calendar here, or email me and I can send you a link or go over specific dates with you. Either one works. The next tab is the resources. This is where we get down to what's actually here in the STEAM Lab. I need to tell you that everything can be checked out and brought to your classroom other than our 5 VR headsets. They have to stay here because of the sensors in the room, but everything else is mobile and can be brought to your classroom. So with that in mind, when you go to the page labeled Resources and you click on Digital Inventory, this is a live Google Sheet of all of the equipment that we have here in the district STEM lab. The way I have it organized at this point is you have the spaces as your first tab, so the names of the spaces, number of occupants, as well as some applications. So if you see this as blue link, you can click there, and that'll give you a better idea, maybe a picture of what it is, because some of these titles can be pretty abstract. For our primary teachers, we started an inventory of the materials that are available to you on your campus in the primary STEM lab. That makerspace closet that I showed you in the field trip, the actual items are found here. Our 3D printing room, you can find the items here. We have some specific things for our science teachers, models that we can use around campus. And the last 3 tabs are broken down into grade levels. So if I'm a pre-K through 3rd grade teacher and I'm trying to look for a kit or a tool that maybe is here in the lab, I would want to start on this tab. These are organized by alphabetical order, by name, your age range. I tried to give a 1 or 2 sentence description, but I think what's really valuable for me is seeing a picture of it. So every product that we have, you can click here to get a link to at least see what it is. The quantity, how many we have, and if there's any curricular connections, such as already built out lesson plans or a YouTube video showing this in use in a classroom, then I've tried to put those here as well. Again, the goal is to help give you an idea of what's here. There isn't an expectation that you look here and go on it on your own. That's where my email and my job of supporting you comes back into play. So there's our primary list. Our list for our intermediate students as well as lower junior high, so 4th through 6th grade. And then our upper junior high and high school students. Now, if you go through and you look at all of these, you'll notice that some of them overlap, and that's because a lot of these tools can be spanned across multiple grade levels. We have some robots that I've used with kindergartners, as well as our honors physics classes. So there's multiple applications. I will say, too, that a lot of the materials in here have been used by our English and social studies classes, so there is no limit to a content area of who can access it. It is available to every student and every teacher in Snyder ISD. If you see something that you would like to reserve or use, you have one of 2 options. Option number 1 is to email me. Option number 2 is you can click the link here, and this will just open a quick Google form. You quickly tell me what you need to check out, how many you would like, when you need them by, where to deliver them, length of time, and if you need any support or not with those, and then it sends an email to me. The whole goal is when we have this equipment is that you have a support structure in place to use it confidently with your classes. So please do not hesitate to reserve something and know that with that comes support from me. So that is the STEM Lab. That is what's in the STEM Lab and how you can access both the calendar as well as all of the inventory and equipment that we have here. Okay, so I know what's in the lab. I can see the calendar. I can't wait to bring my students over here or have materials brought to me. And now I need to let Ryan know. Here's how we walk through that. And when I get an email, here are some expectations or things that I'm kind of looking for in an email because that helps us collaborate and work better together to support you and your students. So the first thing is definitely want to make sure we send it to the right person. So rmaney@snyderisd.net. Subject can be whatever you want. So maybe it's STEAM Lab. Yay! Okay. In the body of the email, I know we're all really busy, so I'm just looking for some important pieces of information that help me continue planning and working with you. One of the things that we always do when using the equipment or the space is making sure that it's aligning to what you're already doing in class. So it should add depth and meaning to it, just not be something that's disconnected from the learning happening in your classroom. So the first thing that I usually ask for is for teachers to tell me specifically what they need, whether that's a space or a piece of equipment. So the first thing is tell me, what do you need, space or equipment? The next thing you can tell me is what's going on in your classroom. Tell me about your lesson plan, your lessons, your student objectives, upcoming assessments. That type of information really helps me hone in on that equipment and then supporting you even more effectively. Next thing to tell me is when do you need it? So that could be the day, time, length, and from that information we can then work together to plan out a lesson or series of lessons or a unit that incorporates the space here at the STEM lab as well as the materials in a way that is meaningful and effective. So, when you're ready, you hit send. That email comes to me, and then we can move from there on collaborating together. All right, so thanks for taking a quick 11-minute tour of the district STEM lab, all the equipment. Hopefully by accessing that website through the Snyder ISD homepage, that gives you a better idea of where to find what we actually have in the lab and the way to use it and access it for you and your students. Remember, either email me, use that Google Calendar, or use that Google Sheet. All of those three are effective ways to get a hold of what you need. When you get to that point and you're saying, okay, I'm ready to do our mobile virtual reality lab and take my students around the world for a history class. I'm ready to try out some drones as I explore physics. I want to do a 3D creation with my kindergartners using safe 3D pens. Or we want to use our robots or any of the things that we have here or a space. Make sure you send me an email with those things. Once that's done and we've collaborated together and you've passed the quiz for this badge, we can then collaborate, work together, make your lesson plan. We'll take some pictures, talk about it, and that will then give you key card access to get into the STEAM lab whenever you need to, so you can access and set up your classrooms the way you need to. All right, thank you for helping me make this place that's open to everyone in our district. If you have any questions, send me an email.